a Dallas shirt on, Mark.
You have a Dallas shirt on?
Yeah, it's my Dallas shirt.
Does that mean you just bought that in Dallas?
No, it means it's like checkered, and I just thought it was sort of, you know.
Yeah, no, that's the kind of stuff we wear.
Right?
Yeah.
I wear this in LA.
What are you trying to say about Dallas? We have a checkered past? Is that
Well, it's bright and colorful and kind of.
I'm here with the very wonderful Nancy Cartwright and Lynn Rajskub. I did say that right.
Yeah.
That was good.
Look at us together.
A+.
Thank you very much. Well, it's important to me to get your names right because then that way, especially you, because now everybody knows exactly how to say it. So, In Search of Fellini, this seems like a really fun thing. And first of all, thank you for bringing this to USA Film Festival because we love getting really fun, kind of personal films like this.
Awesome.
So it's great to have you here.
My pleasure.
I've been keeping track of your journey on this film through YouTube and some of the things that you've been posting and whatnot. And what I love about it is the fact that because it's Fellini was so, in his own way, very autobiographical, and this is a very autobiographical journey for you as well. When you were in that headspace back in your 20s, did you ever think one day, like, I've got to make a movie about this?
No.
Or where was the impetus that started this journey?
Mark, that's an awesome question. I wasn't thinking of that at all. I was looking for something. I wasn't sure what it was exactly, but I was a little frustrated. So my teacher kept having me look at this film, and I was putting up every scene I think that you could possibly put up in an acting class, casting different characters to play opposite me. And I just said, wow, and then I got this bright idea, maybe I should develop this as a one-woman show. Maybe I should get the rights, to do this from Fellini, to get the rights to do La Strada. So,
As a stage?
yeah, it's a stage production. Yeah, I wanted to do the whole stage production. No, I said that wrong. Can you edit this?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I jumped ahead of myself. Ask me again. Let me just answer it again.
Well,
it's okay.
actually, I'm glad you said that because it makes me want to kind of rephrase this and say,
Okay.
you did this. You did this as a one-woman show. Yes,
Yeah.
we're all friends. That's all
Yeah.
we're supposed to be. You did this as a one-woman show, and then what was the moment that made you think, like, this would work as a film?
That was in 1995 that we did it as a one-woman show. It was shortly after that. I had gone to the Sundance Film Festival, and Peter Chenis, who's the co-writer of this and also producer, he and I had gotten together like in '91 to develop this. We had done a workshop production of it, and then we did a legitimate theater production of In Search of Fellini. And the problem was I didn't have the wherewithal to do it. How are we going to shoot this film in Italy when I don't speak the language? I don't know anybody that lives over there. I had no networking skills. There was no internet at the time.
Right.
So it's like technologically we weren't there yet. But the trip had been so impactful on myself that there was a story I knew that I needed to tell, and I kept telling the story to my friends, and they're the ones that said, you need to do this, you need to do this as a film. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not, I can't do that. I had to get my own confidence level up, and like I said, kind of grow into it in terms of the people that I knew and my own power and confidence.
Yeah. Now, Mary Lynn, you play Carrie in the film. You're kind of the, I don't want to put a label on it, but you're sort of like the person that's trying to reason with and say this is not maybe the smartest idea to do. Talk a little bit about your character.
On your own to Italy, or the smartest idea to... Oh, wait, I have a question on the answer.
Oh, sure,
to your
go
question.
for it.
Yeah.
So when you were saying you were getting into the position to make the movie, did that have to do with knowing Tehran and like how did you make the connections of
With Tehran?
Yeah, of
Tehran, the director of the film.
knowing that you could have the resources and have the right person to partner up with.
It's a great question. At that time, I did not know Tehran. I didn't know him, and I didn't. And again, it's a great question. Trying trying to think how to
Because the
say
way
it.
when you were describing it before, you're really hitting on something that I think a lot of filmmakers are probably when they start out like, oh, maybe I had this story or I had this idea, but there's so many things that have to come together.
Yeah, we weren't thinking. I wasn't even that far along in terms of like the concept of it to like start thinking about casting and who I would have as a director. I just felt like I needed to. There was no way that I was even going to get there, so it didn't quite happen at that time. As time moved on, and I think it was probably about I'm just looking back, we shot it like 2 years ago. It was probably like three years ago when I knew of Tehran's work by then, and that's when it started to be very real for me. And Tehran Lexton, who is brilliant, by the way, and the whole crew was just amazing. Having Mary Lynn and having, Ksenia and having Maria Bello, that all started to come together when the whole idea and concept of actually having the wherewithal to shoot it in Italy became real.
Yeah.
And that was only about 3 years ago. And mind you, it's like between 1995 and 2014, Peter and I must have written a dozen scripts on this. We seriously did not let that idea go. We kept creating, and I think that's the answer to the question. If you have an idea about it, don't stop creating on it, even if you feel you can't get it done. Keep it alive somehow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So now,
I thank you for throwing to me, though.
No,
You're very
I think that's
professional, and
great.
I throw it back to you because we were talking
this
last
just became
night.
a very interactive interview. So like, you're
I
like
love
helping
it.
me out.
I love
Because we were
it.
talking last night, kind of each other's stories of how we started performing, and so I think like your story is so interesting that you kind of moved into using your own story and writing and producing, and that's such an interesting way that you were able to create
It
this.
was very organic, though. I mean, and I think that's part of the answer to your question, too, is that you have to trust your own instincts. And also, you have to know that I really realized that there was a message, and it turned out there's like, I don't know how many themes in this movie, 3 or 4 different themes in this movie, and that you can find for yourself which one really breathes truth to you.
Yeah. Well, Mary Lynn, I've been following your career since back in the Mr. Show days and Larry
Start
Sanders.
that over, because it's Mary Lynn.
I said Mary Lynn.
Oh, it sounds like you're saying Mary Ellen.
No, I said Mary Lynn.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry.
This is my
I'm
favorite
so
interview
sorry.
ever.
I'm so
It's
sorry.
okay. It's okay. I can cut that.
Okay. I'll stop being a producer now.
This is great. This is terrific. So, Mary Lynn, I've been following your career since back in the Mr. Show days, and one of my favorite TV shows of all time, Larry Sanders. So, I love seeing what you do, but I also love the fact that you do so many different types of things. So what was it about this particular project that made you want to be a part of it? And I have to ask, does it stem from when you guys, in any way, when you guys worked together on The Simpsons for that one episode?
Oh, I don't even think we were in
You probably weren't in the same room. Yeah.
Kiefer and I were like this.
It was so fun. It's like one line. I did.
Yeah, everybody thinks that like people on animated series are working together.
Yeah.
They never see one another, so yeah.
I mean, you and I, whatever, that's a whole other story. We had maybe met briefly years ago, but
I met you on the set.
we did?
I
Because I
remember.
feel like I met you otherwise.
No,
We're
because-
going to go down a whole other rabbit hole.
Here's what happened is that Kiefer was on The Simpsons, and I wanted to go, and it was like a birthday wish of mine to go to the set of 24. So I was invited there.
Oh.
Yeah, and John Cassar, I hooked up with
I
John
met you
Cassar.
other
He
than
was so
that.
great, and you were taping that day, and I told you, I was such a fangirl. She was so sweet, and it's like we met. It was so brief. I just told you I just loved what you did with Chloe. We hit it off.
But the movie, I read the script, I knew Tehran, I knew you, and read the script, and it's gorgeous, and it's just the story of her journey, the girl, the woman that's based on you in
Right.
the film. It's just so unusual to read something that's driven. It's a mother-daughter story, and then my character kind of comes in as the voice of reason, our other family member, and I just loved how dreamy it was and how it, went into her interior world, and then her going to Italy by herself. Just love the feel of it and thought it was a really neat project. And that with who was involved, I was like, yeah, this is a no-brainer.
And I'd love to comment though, just is that having Mary Lynn be a part of this, her ability to do improv really added so much to the truthfulness of what was being communicated. I mean, there's
It definitely had to have a grounding element. Maybe is a nice way of putting it. I got some bad words in the film.
She's the voice of, I mean, she brings lightness to it, and it could otherwise be a little bit too symbolic, a little serious. I mean, Fellini's movies weren't exactly comedies, you know.
And it's it's her breaking away from her mom. The mom is not well, so there's a lot of emotion and intimacy and mother-daughter stuff in it. So
mother-daughter and sister-sister and aunt niece. You know, it's like it's a very. I'd say it's not really a chick flick though, because you're going to have Fellini aficionados and students that are going to see this movie, and there's little clips of, I mean, he did like 20 films. Yeah. And there's probably at least 15 of them that you'll see little tiny references to. That Tehran, again, he's a visionary, kind of like what Fellini was.
Yeah, he really is. And how gorgeous it is, and Italy and Fellini and the way that this film looks, those are all also characters.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I love it when movies make the city or the location a character of the film. And speaking of that, you shot part of this in Ohio, but then you shot, was it 4 different places in Italy?
It was actually,
Verona, Milan, Rome, and Venice, right?
Milan, no, it wasn't Milan.
Not
so much Milan, but Verona, Venice, and Rome,
Yeah.
And Cleveland.
Good gig, right?
I know.
And Cleveland. I love that you saved that for last. Yeah. And Cleveland. But, well, and talk a little bit about that. I mean, just being there to kind of soak that up as part of the production and also having those memories that feed into it. I mean, it's kind of like coming full circle now.
Well, for me, I got to tell you, it's a little surreal because we went back to the locations that I originally had gone to, and Peter Chenis, the co-writer, and Tehran and I did a preliminary trip to Italy. I kept in touch with several of the people that I had met originally, and I don't want to give too much. I don't want to give it away, but I did stay in touch with some of the people, and I got photographs. I had kept a journal. But again, at that time, I was not thinking I'm going to be doing this in 30 years. This is going to be a film. It's like The Simpsons. Nobody knew that 30 years later, this thing was going to, we were going to be doing season 29 and 30. It's just like kind of wild.
Okay, so speaking of The Simpsons, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the fact that we just celebrated the 30th anniversary. It was April 19th, 1987. Isn't that just bizarre to hear that?
Oh my God.
April 19th, 1987 was when The Simpsons started.
That's right.
And we just celebrated 30 years of that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know, has any other TV show even come close to that kind of legacy?
I think Gunsmoke did 21 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Seriously. I mean, talk about a deserved honor. It's like sticking with something for so long and maintaining quality. This is not easy.
Sticking with it. I mean, it is so fun. It is such a blast. And I'm very, appreciative of all the years and the support that I get from, the executives on that show and the writers on that show. And then I can have this life and work with people like this gal right here. Seriously. It was dreamy. It was just, I don't know that I will ever have another experience like this, and I'm loving every second.
But you have to think about that too, because like everything is relative. Like if you weren't working that job and you weren't working on 24, then it's possible you two might have never met because you became a fan. You went to visit her. I mean, all of it's relative.
There's no mistakes, my friend.
That's right.
Well, bam.
I wasn't going to ask you to do it, but thank you very much. All right, I do want to ask you, just real quickly, favorite Fellini films. Like, if you had to name your top 3 for both of you, what would you say for Fellini?
Well, I'll first say La Strada.
I'm going to say whatever ones you say are my favorite. I've seen bits and pieces of a lot of them that are melded together in my mind. So I'm not really,
there are quite a few. I think it's 27 or something total that he did.
And I'm a very lazy actor, so and my part didn't require because in the movie I'm like watching them going like these are so weird. I was like perfect. I don't have to actually.
Well, I'm sure you've probably
be
seen.
versed in
Have you
them.
seen the Dolce Vita and 8.5?
I've seen 8.5 is the one.
Right.
Which one's La Dolce Vita?
Well,
This was Anita Ekberg and Marcello Mastroianni, and it has the Trevi Fountain.
Right.
It's like kind of amazing. And
one of how many films that Marcello worked with him on? Several
gosh,
different films, right?
he was like his leading man.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly how many, but Julieta Messina was in at least 3.
Yeah, Richard Basehart did multiples. Yeah. So
You guys are the real.
a little
No,
bit.
it makes me seem like I'm not. But I'll give you an interesting little piece of trivia. Is that there was an actor in it named Bruno Zanin. He was in Amarcord.
Yeah.
He was 22 at the time when they did Amarcord. He lied about his age. He said he was 17 because they needed a 15-year-old to play the lead in Amarcord. Do you know this?
No.
They found him. Guess what? He retired after Amarcord. He couldn't make a living being an actor, so he retired from the industry. Started doing something else. He speaks no English. They found him. He lives 3 miles in somewhere around Venice. They pulled him out of retirement, and he plays my husband in this film.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow.
Oh, I didn't realize who that was.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's
What a
it.
great
That's
connection.
incredible.
Yeah.
That's terrific. Okay, I always like to end interview with an interview with stupid questions. So here's a stupid question. You ready?
Ready.
You played Chloe on Veronica's Closet, and you played Chloe on 24.
That is true.
What would happen if Chloe on Veronica's Closet was to meet with Chloe on 24?
They would be a couple.
They would be a
And,
couple?
They would complement each other perfectly.
All the fan fiction and fan theories that will come out of that are amazing. So, and finally, Nancy, if you will indulge us, what would Bart Simpson say after seeing In Search of Fellini?
Get me out of here.
Terrific.
That is not, it's not for a 10-year-old boy.
Right.
I'm just saying. But if Lisa Simpson saw it, she would seriously, it would take her a while to leave the theater. It would.
She would be very emotional, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Makes you laugh and makes you cry all at the same time.
Where do you
That's so
guys-
funny because my son is 8 and like thinking of a boy in there. Like, no way, out of here. That's so.
Oh, especially the guys from. Oh, there's this one scene. I don't want to give it away. Let's just say it's a toga scene, and that's all. And men wearing togas, short.
Where do you guys
skirts.
go from here? Are you doing more film festivals? Or what is the release schedule so that we can let everybody know when they can see this next?
Well, we're premiering in New York September the 15th.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah, and I'm embarking on a little road tour.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I leave here and head off to North Carolina. I'm buying a 52 Chevy truck, and I'm going to drive across country and ask people what they're searching for.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
terrific. I'm loving your
Yeah.
YouTube videos. It's been really wonderful. So,
Thank you.
In Search of Fellini, we'll have more information down below on where you guys can see it near you. And be sure and check this out. Thank you so much, Nancy and Marilyn. It's been an honor
Thanks for
talking
having
to
us.
both of
Yeah,
you. So,
thank you so much.
That was great.
Oh my God, you're amazing!
No, you guys
I
are
love
wonderful.
that. I love that interview. You're so gracious.
Try to keep it fun. Yeah.
You do it and you do your homework. You know your stuff. You're passionate, obviously, about Fellini.
Yep.
You know, it means the difference between a good interview and a fantastic.